Good evening. Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Welcome to Weekend Update. I'm Michael Che.
I'm Colin Jost. Representative Matt Gaetz referenced the Proud Boys by tweeting a picture of himself outside Trump's courtroom with the caption, "Standing back and standing by." Gaetz used that same caption in a picture of himself outside a quinceañera.
Yesterday, President Biden released a new video with Barack Obama in which they remind people that Obamacare is still available. But according to polls, people really want to know if Obama is still available. During Congress's final day before the holiday break, the House passed legislation that would end a ban on whole milk in school cafeterias. Finally, let's get these kids thick.
The Republican response was delivered by Alabama Senator Katie Britt, who made some choices.
As a mom, I can't quit thinking about this. Mr. President, enough is enough. We see you. We hear you. And we stand with you.
Thanks. President Biden announced that he's raising tariffs on Chinese electric cars to 100%. Unfortunately, Chinese electric cars is just what Biden calls Mario Kart.
In an interview, Senator Mitt Romney said that he will not vote for Donald Trump over Joe Biden. Now, some of you may remember Mitt Romney.
Those are all scenes from her one-woman show, A Brit Much. It's the play critics are calling, Is She Okay? That was honestly some of the worst acting I've ever seen, and I've seen me.
The FAA revealed that Donald Trump's Boeing 757 clipped a parked plane when it landed in Florida. But the good news is Donald Trump flies around in a Boeing, so...
Donald Trump urged his supporters to brave the sub-zero temperatures in Iowa to vote for him, saying, even if you vote and then pass away, it's worth it. Voting for Trump and then passing away is also what happened with COVID. After Trump was photographed with some strange red marks on his hand, some dermatologists speculated it could be something called hand herpes. What the hell is hand herpes? Said Tim Scott.
Hey, President Biden made a drastic change in his immigration policy, saying he would be willing to shut down the border if given the power by Congress. It's the kind of unexpected shift in direction Biden usually only makes in the middle of a sentence. The Biden campaign is trying to appeal to black voters as polls show their support for Biden has declined. It's getting so bad, he now only has support from Obama's white half.
Michael Cohen, whose cologne I can smell through this picture, testified against Donald Trump this week. Cohen was portrayed by Trump's attorneys as someone who hated Donald Trump and was trying to get revenge. But the only evidence of that comes from Cohen's upcoming book, I Hate Donald Trump, but I'm Trying to Get Revenge.
The Supreme Court is addressing recent allegations of ethical lapses by adopting a new code of conduct, replacing their old code of conduct, money up front, no kissing on the mouth. Senator Tim Scott announced that he is dropping out of the 2024 presidential race. With Scott gone, the most prominent black Republican is once again the Blacks for Trump guy. All right, whatever. I'm really proud of that.
A Christmas photo released by the royal family features a bad Photoshop job where Prince Louis's finger appears to be missing. And this is sweet. Meghan Markle said she has a finger they can use if they need it.
In Monday's Iowa caucuses, Ron DeSantis beat out Nikki Haley for second place. Well, that ought to put whatever this is on his face. South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, who looks like someone drew Ving Rhames with their eyes closed, endorsed Donald Trump. But remember, most Trump supporters only count him as 3/5 of an endorsement. Oh, boy. boy.
On his website, truthsocial. I'm going to guess scam, Donald Trump denied reports that he was so depressed after the 2020 election that he stopped eating, saying, quote, "It was not that I was not eating, it was that I was eating too much." Wow, good save. That's like when a rumor went around middle school that I had peed my pants, and I was like, joke's on you, because I actually pooped them.
A growing number of black men feel like the Trump and Biden campaigns are not actually trying to forge true relationships and just want their votes. Yeah. During a new interview with ABC News, Steve Bannon called himself the voice of MAGA and also the face of gout. After Nikki Haley's poor showing in Michigan, pressure is mounting for her to drop out of the race, but mostly because the dishes are piling up at home. This week, Donald Trump said that he supports abortion laws being decided by the states instead of the federal government. But why stop there? Why not go even smaller and leave it up to the counties or the city? Or even better, take the government out of it completely and leave it the choice about what women can do with their bodies to the person who knows what they could do with them the best, their husbands.
My favorite part of the visit was when Trump, who looks good behind bars, by the way, finally came face to face with his sworn enemies, the migrants, and he had a pretty harsh message for them. Take a look.
They like Trump. Can you believe it?
Nikki Haley received an endorsement from New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu, which would be helpful if anyone knew who that was. A new report shows that for the first time, the majority of billionaires last year received their fortunes through family inheritance. And not to brag, but I inherited my family's learning disabilities.
They like Trump. Can you believe it?
No, I can't believe it. The migrants don't like you. They just walked 1,000 miles to get to edge of this river, and they're probably thinking, is that weirdo in a Trump costume waving us into the country? And you have to think that everybody in the government is a secret pedophile except for this guy dancing with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, isn't that the happiest you've ever seen Trump? He's dancing like nobody's checking IDs. Senator Mitch McConnell, seen here being told a black woman made a country album, has come out in favor of a bill that would potentially ban TikTok in the U.S. Of course, for McConnell, TikTok is just what the Grim Reaper says while tapping his watch.
John Kerry announced that he is stepping down as the U.S. climate envoy and is expected to focus on President Biden's re-election campaign. And it's not a great sign that Biden's campaign is a bigger emergency than climate change. In an interview on Fox News, presidential candidate Nikki Haley said that America has, quote, never been a racist country. Because if Americans were so racist, why did they have sex with their slaves?
Just today, Donald Trump posted on Truth Social that he wasn't scared of going to jail for violating a gag order, saying, "I will gladly become a modern-day Nelson Mandela." Unfortunately for Halloween.
After Ron DeSantis endorsed Donald Trump, he called DeSantis a really terrific person and promised to stop calling him Ron DeSanctimonious. Well, it's like a wise man once said.
You can be the most worthless Republican in America, but if you kiss the ring, he'll say you're wonderful.
Well,
in a video on Truth Social, Donald Trump falsely said that Democrats support abortion up to the 9th month and beyond, saying the baby is executed after birth. But he only thinks that happens because when Trump was a baby, a bunch of time travelers showed up trying to kill him.
After the New Hampshire primary, Nikki Haley attacked Donald Trump and called out his, quote, senior moments, which made Trump so angry he almost ripped off the safety rails on his toilet. Political experts say that Nikki Haley could have been helped by black voters in South Carolina, but they have long disliked her. This is mostly due to a phenomenon known as bitch too skinny. Nikki Haley insisted that she's not staying in the race to be Donald Trump's running mate, saying, "I feel no need to kiss the ring," while Tim Scott said he'll suck that ring right off Trump's finger.
Oh my God. A group of geneticists have announced plans to bring back the dodo and reintroduce it to Africa. And if you ask me, I can think of at least one dodo I'd like to reintroduce to Africa. A Pennsylvania man has been sentenced to 2 years probation for selling body parts for mortuaries, but still no punishment for the buyer, Arby's.
We have your grandpa.
For Weekend Update, sponsored by Arby's. New York State now allows movie theaters to serve alcohol, which is how I'm finally able to enjoy my wife's little art movies. I'm kidding, honey. I love all of your movies. And if you ask me, you're an even better Black Widow than Coretta Scott King.
Nikki Haley has launched a series of campaign ads targeting both Donald Trump and Joe Biden called Grumpy Old Men. Okay, but at least they're men. Chicago became the largest U.S. city to call for a ceasefire in Gaza, and in return, Gaza called for a ceasefire in Chicago. If convicted, Hunter Biden could be sentenced to up to 17 years in prison, which would be the first time any Biden has successfully completed a sentence. Woman's an activist, Colin. Last month, Beyonce posted a photo on Instagram of herself in a chrome Versace dress and platinum blonde hair that many people online described as too white. In fact, Beyonce looked so white that I was finally attracted to her.
Mitch McConnell, seen here bringing peanuts into a preschool cafeteria, said he will tell Republican senators to vote against additional aid for Ukraine and Israel until there are meaningful changes to the border. But the way it came out was brains.
Kanye West appeared on Tucker Carlson's show to defend wearing a White Lives Matter shirt, claiming he wore the shirt because he was using a gut instinct. But what he's definitely not using are the meds prescribed to him.
A British pilot created the largest ever portrait of Queen Elizabeth by drawing her outline on a flight path over the country. Let's see a picture. It was announced that Kim Kardashian and Kanye West have reached a settlement in their divorce, and I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that she maybe had an easier time finding a good lawyer. Okay, there you are. Okay. A woman in Atlanta gave birth to her baby in a McDonald's, so caution, wet floor. Wow, that's a stunning likeness. She always was smiling. Planned Parenthood says it will soon open its first mobile abortion clinic in the country, which will make it easier to provide care to patients anywhere in the country that Herschel Walker has visited.
Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones is under fire over a picture of him from 1957 where he looks on as black students are stopped from entering his school. Okay, so maybe Jerry Jones was a racist back then. But tell me this, would a racist own a team full of the strongest black men he could buy to work on his field? No, right? The answer is no. Wednesday was National Coffee with a Cop Day, and something tells me cops like their coffee with a couple of shots in it. British artist is selling his own urine outside a museum for over $500 a can, but you can still buy urine at the bodega for only $3.
Hawaii's Mauna Loa, the world's largest active volcano, began erupting for the first time since 1984. Also erupting for the first time since 1984, your aunt watching Yellowstone. The World Health Organization is changing the name of monkeypox to Mpox due to concerns that the original could be considered racist, which I didn't even really think was an issue, but now I'm just wondering, what's the N in N95?
Xin chào các bạn, hôm nay chúng mình sẽ cùng nhau đi tô màu cho bức tranh chú chim bồ câu này nhé. Vậy là mình đã hoàn thành tô màu xong cho bức tranh chú chim Hải Âu này rồi đấy. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại mọi người trong những bức tranh tô màu tiếp theo nha. Xin chào.